When you're about to spend a few $100s on a lighting add-on, the first question that pops into your head is usually, will this actually make my setup easier, or am I just buying another piece of metal that gathers dust? I get that hesitation, especially if you've already got a few Aputure INFINIBAR bars on the rig and you're wondering whether a shaping kit is worth the extra cost. In the next few minutes I'm going to walk through exactly how the Aputure Multi-Light Shaping Kit fits into a real-world workflow, where the value really shows up, and who should consider putting it in the cart versus who might be better off skipping it. Link is in the description if you want to check the product details on Amazon. First, a bit of context about the category. The INFINIBAR series PB3, PB6, and PB12 are essentially slim LED pixel bars that give you precise color control and a long, flexible light source. They're fantastic for creating edge lighting, accent strips, or even a soft fill panel when you mount them on a diffusion frame. The challenge isn't the bars themselves, it's how you mount, angle, and secure them in a way that's repeatable and sturdy, especially when you're swapping rigs between a small home studio and a client's location. That's where a shaping kit becomes more than a convenience, it becomes a structural solution. What the kit actually includes is a set of flat connectors, a trio of 3D adapters, triangle, square, hexagonal, and a handful of mounting brackets designed to snap onto the bar's rail. All the pieces are machined from a high-grade aluminum that feels solid in the hand, and the connectors lock with a click that's audible enough to assure you they're seated. The design intent is clear. You can build a custom light profile that stays exactly where you want it, whether that's a tight corner bounce on a ceiling grid or a floating strip suspended from a stand. Now, let's talk about the practical strengths. The first thing I noticed on my own test rig was the speed of setup. With the stock Aputure clamps you have to fight a bit to get the bar perfectly vertical, and you often end up with a slight wobble that shows up in video as a flickering edge. Using the kit's flat connector, the bar slides into a groove that eliminates any lateral play. In a typical interview setup, where I was positioning a PB6 just above a subject's shoulders, the whole assembly snapped together in under a minute. That kind of speed translates directly into more shooting time and less frustration when you're on a tight schedule. The second strength is the versatility of the 3D adapters. Because each adapter has a different geometry, you can mount the same bar on a curved surface, a flat wall, or even a custom fabricated acrylic panel. I used the triangle adapter to create a low-profile U-shaped light that wrapped around a product side for a commercial shoot. The result was a clean, even spill that would have taken a lot of extra diffusion work with a standard clamp. That adaptability is especially valuable if you frequently switch between portrait-oriented product videos and landscape-oriented interview rigs. Another subtle benefit is the way the kit improves cable management. The connectors include built-in cable routing channels that keep the power cable tucked close to the bar, reducing the chance of accidental snags on a moving set. When you're moving a light bar across a tight studio space, that little channel can be the difference between a clean run and a tangled mess that forces you to rewire midday. On the flip side, there are a few practical weaknesses worth noting. The first is that the kit is purpose-built for INFINIBAR models only. If you have a mixed lighting inventory that includes non-Aputure LED strips or older Fresnel fixtures, the connectors won't be compatible, and you'll end up with a half-used kit sitting on a shelf. That's not a deal-breaker if you're fully invested in the INFINIBAR ecosystem, but it does limit the kit's flexibility for a broader rig. Second, the mounting brackets, while sturdy, are a bit bulkier than some of the ultra-slim clamps you might find on the market. If you're trying to hide the rig inside a tight ceiling tile or a narrow crawl space, the extra thickness can be a nuisance. In practice, I found that the brackets add roughly inch to the overall profile, which is negligible for most tabletop setups but can become noticeable on a set where you're trying to keep the lighting footprint as low as possible. Finally, the price point sits at a level where you'll want to be sure you actually need the extra adjustability. For a hobbyist who only uses a single PB3 for occasional YouTube videos, the stock clamps might be sufficient. The shaping kit shines when you start building multi-bar arrays or need to maintain consistent positioning across multiple shoots. In short, the value proposition scales with the complexity of your lighting design. So who should consider buying this kit? If you're a freelance videographer, a content creator who shoots interviews, product